Hey, thanks for dropping in. In case you can't tell from the incredibly lifelike stand-in, the star of today's episode is pineapple. I'll be using it to make a variation on one of the Philippines' most iconic dishes, chicken adobo. Ideally, fresh pineapple would be best for the recipe, but my local supermarket didn't have any, so I'll be using canned. That's also the reason why I have a stand-in, because frankly, canned pineapple isn't that photogenic.
That's mine.
Okay, back to plan A. Here's my canned pineapple. As you can see, I'm using rings. Because they're packed in juice, they're pretty waterlogged, which is a challenge because I want to sear these off later. To help get around that, I let them sit around for a while in some paper towel to absorb some of the excess moisture. It won't be the same as using fresh pineapple, so if you got it, use it. But if you're like me and you only have access to canned, it'll do the trick. This is the juice from the canned pineapple. This will go in the sauce. Next, I've got a half cup of light soy, 3/4 of a cup of apple cider vinegar, and 1 tablespoon dark soy sauce, which will help with the color. Then there's chicken, of course. I've got 8 thighs here, or about a kilo in total. You can swap in legs or wings if you like, but I definitely don't recommend using breast. This recipe really requires forgiving dark meat. I also recommend using bone-in chicken because bones add flavor, and as for skin, that's optional. The skin won't get crisp, but it does make the dish look more pretty, and I personally don't mind a chicken skin after it's been braised in sauce. It becomes silky, and it adds a little something extra. Next, because adobo's not adobo without them, I've got garlic, peppercorns, and bay leaves. Specifically 10 cloves, or about a full head of garlic, plus a tablespoon of black peppercorns and 3 bay leaves. The green onion's there because I'll be using it to garnish the dish at the end. I just need to chop up the garlic. There. Now, one thing I want to mention about the garlic, because it happened to me just now as I was chopping, if you peel your garlic and you see that it's got a little green sprout poking out, remove the sprout. You just need to slice the garlic clove in half and then you can pull it right out. The reason you want to do this is because that garlic sprout can be a little bitter, and it'll make whatever you're cooking bitter, which is going to be a big problem in this dish because it's got so much garlic in it. Alright, the final ingredient you need is ginger. About this much of it. Sorry, I'm not sure how to describe exactly this quantity. Is it a nub? Half a nub? Anyway, whatever it's called, I need to peel and chop it. Like so. Ginger isn't common in adobo, but I'm adding it here anyways because it plays really well with the pineapple. Before I can start cooking, I need to marinate the chicken. To do this, I simply add the garlic, ginger, both soy sauces, and apple cider vinegar to the meat. I'll give it a toss, then cover it and put it in the fridge. This can then marinate for 30 minutes up to a couple of hours. You don't want to go too short or the chicken won't soak up enough flavor. But don't go too long either because the acid in the vinegar can start breaking down the meat, turn it mushy. Because I'm cooking this on a weeknight, I don't have that much time, so I'll be leaning towards the shorter end of that scale. Alright, it's been about 30 minutes, it's time to get the show on the road. I pulled my chicken out of the fridge and shook off as much of the marinade as I could. Now I can brown the chicken in a nice hot pan with a little touch of oil. Because I don't want to overcrowd them, I'll do this in 2 batches. Okay, batch 1's looking pretty good, so I can flip these. Now I said earlier that the chicken skin won't get crispy, so you might be wondering why I'm bothering with this step at all. Mainly it's to give the chicken a head start in taking on some color, because the browning will add extra flavor. Even if you're using skinless chicken, I still recommend you do this step. Batch 1's ready to come out, and I can add batch 2. I'll just repeat what I've been doing the last 6 or 7 minutes. And here's the flip on batch 2. Alright, my chicken's done. I've got a lot of burnt garlic and oil in the pan, so I'm just going to take a moment to clean that out before I go any further. My pan is clean, I've got some fresh oil in there. Now I can add the garlic and peppercorns, then give those a minute just to toast and get fragrant. And it's there. So now I can add the marinade my chicken was cooking in. As well as the pineapple juice. Then the bay. And finally, the chicken, so it can finish cooking. I'll turn the heat down to medium and let this simmer until the chicken's cooked. That'll probably be about 20 to 30 minutes. So here I am after 30 minutes. The chicken's cooked, the sauce is reduced slightly, and the entire house smells like adobo, which isn't a bad thing. In fact, I think the aroma drew my wife and daughter down from upstairs, so there might be a bit of extra background noise from here on out. I'll give it a taste to make sure the seasoning's good. And it is. There's sourness, there's a little saltiness, there's definitely garlic, there's bay, and there's a hint of sweet from the pineapple juice, which you could bump up with some brown sugar if you wanted. I'm going to leave mine alone though. I'll just move this pan to another burner and keep it on medium-low heat, just to keep it hot and also to continue reducing the sauce while I get to frying some pineapple. For that, I'll need some oil in a hot pan. I'll lay the pineapple rings in and leave them alone for several minutes. As I said at the start of the video, canned pineapple holds a lot of extra moisture because of the way they're packed. So I'll need to leave these alone for a good long while and not do anything to them except flip them every few minutes. The reward for my patience is pineapple that's soft and lightly caramelized, which deepens the flavor. On the other burner, my adobo sauce is reduced further and the chicken's looking beautiful, so I'm ready to plate up. And here it is, adobo chicken with seared pineapple. There's also pineapple flavor in the sauce, which I'll just spoon lazily over the entire thing. And then a little flourish of green onion for color. I'm not sure what else needs to be said about this dish. There's a reason why it's probably the best known of all Filipino dishes. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a perfect plate of food. Well, almost perfect. It's screaming out for a huge pile of rice. Thanks for watching. Please consider giving me a thumbs up or subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you next week.